Welcome. Let's do a 20-minute bar routine. I don't have a ballet bar per se. I have a mantelpiece. You could use a dresser, a counter, or hold the back of a chair. I'm not a ballerina. I have taken some dance, but I've been teaching bar for about 6 or 7 years, along with teaching yoga. Let's start in first position. So in this one, you're not like this exactly, even if you're flexible enough for that. You want to be in sort of a triangular position as if your feet are framing a piece of pizza. Notice that you're not sloping forward in the hips or hyper arching, but nice and firm from pelvis, like a zipper. It's moving up to your neck. In first position, let's simply go up and down. Keep one hand on the hip, unless you're holding the back of your prop or holding your bar like this. It's an option. As I go up, I'm squeezing my glutes. Alternatively, you could expand the arm as you rise. Wide open chest. Look straight ahead. Roll back your shoulders. We're doing sets of 12 of everything. And when we get to the 12th one, let's hold, squeeze in the glutes, firm core, open chest. Imagine the back of your head is touching a wall behind you. Let's add pliés. Coming down, plié. Now notice here, especially if you're going really wide, that your knees are not going inwards, they're tracking over the second toe. Let's add the tippy toes. Lift, land, plié. Plié is simply a little squat. Try not to lean forward with the chest. If you keep looking ahead at eye level rather than at the floor, you'll stay upright. If you look at the floor, you'll tend to lean into what you're looking at. Core is engaged. When you're at the top, squeeze the glutes. This is stabilizing the low back, improving your posture. Keep your shoulders rolled wide open, long neck. And on number 12, we'll do pulses. So come into your plie and small pulses here. Core is engaged. If you have a strong arch in your low back, try to bring it just slightly forward. For extra balance, you can take the hand off of the prop as you pulse. Typically we pulse for about 30 seconds. I often teach with a stopwatch, haven't got that today. And up. Let's step into second. So in second, the heels are beneath your hips, veering, pointing out to 10 and 2 o'clock. So again, even if you're flexible enough for that, let's just take it slightly inwards. Make sure both my feet are in the frame. Let's come up and down. Again, if you prefer the balance, you can take your arms in first, which is kind of like holding a ball in front of your heart. Soft hands, fingers spaced apart. We're doing a set of 12. Remember to engage your glutes at the top, wide open chest. Picture the form of a ballerina. Let's hold on the 12th one. Engage the buttocks, roll back your shoulders, firm core, and land. Add the plie. Lower, rise to tiptoes. Down and up. If you're finding that you lean really far forward on the way down, go down a little bit less to maintain the posture in the upper body. Now when you're doing sumo squats where the feet are forward facing, in chair position, that's a different concept. Then you're bending more forward. We're doing a set of 12. At the end of the set, we'll add pulses. Pulses are tiny movements with big results. 11, 12. Sometimes I do lose track of counting because I am busy speaking. Let's come to tippy toes or stay flat-footed as we plie and pulse. So forgive me if I'm not exactly 12. It's my goal. If you have the flexibility and can stay open, flexibility to stay tall here is in the hips. You can try going a little bit lower, fairly intense through the quads, shoulders back, and rise up. Nice. Let's sweep. So in this one, I'll turn for a moment. The outside foot is sweeping the floor. Turn my foot, and it's sweeping until it lifts off. You can even hear it sweep the floor like that. I see a lot of my students wanting to do this in this pose, but let's feel it leave contact with the floor. Now watch that you don't pop back, but stay upright. And that's where the prop is handy, at holding something to keep you firm. We're doing a set of 12, followed by, you guessed it, pulses. Really resist the urge to drop back in the upper body. And on the last one, stand and pulse. So focus here on rising up out of the hips and pelvis. Notice your standing leg hasn't locked behind the knee. You can even add a micro bend. Also notice, just turning to show you for a moment, that you haven't started to jut through the standing leg like that. So that you're like this, but lift. Okay? Before we do the other side with that, let's sweep back. Same concept. I'm sweeping behind. Now we want to watch that we're not doing this. I'm exaggerating a little. There'll be a slight lean forward, still having that sweep off the floor. Set of 12. Really feel this with the gluteus medius, your outer hips. And you know what to do on number 12. Let's hold and pulse. Again, really notice you're not locking in the standing leg. Hand could be out here like this, or perhaps you're holding your prop out in front that way. I'm staying to the side so you can see the form a little bit better. Let's do that whole side on the other side. Start with sweeping and lift. Stay upright, shoulders over hips. Core slightly engaged. Point your toes. We often point in bar class and flex in yoga. You get your balance if you do both. A lot of repetitive movements in bar. Good for low back weakness or pain. When you get to number 12, let's small pulses, rise up, don't jut the standing hip to the side. Little tiny movement here. It's not big at all. I found a lot of my students go too big. They're good at the big movements, but the little movements are just as valuable and can be more difficult. Let's bring it down and sweep behind. Let's point the toe as it lifts. Don't tick-tock the body up and down. If you're holding your prop this way, it's simply done like that. Your prop might be lower than mine. We want to be, ideally, your bar about the center of your chest. Doing a set of 12 here, followed by, pulses. And pulse. Small, precise. Lift your chest, shoulders back. Deep inhale. Exhale fully. And land. Walk in place. Let's do hula hoops. Stretching out the outer hips and low back. Circle the other way. We're going to directly target the glutes in the next one. We'll start with straight leg lifts back. So holding my bar with two hands, lifting one leg, and ideally right here, I've got the leg parallel to the floor, and lift about a foot up, heel straight to the ceiling. Standing leg can be slightly bent. In this one, I'm actually arching up through my posture, looking toward my bar. So these aren't as big, but they're not pulses either. So just lift straight up. Really good for low back. And when you get to number 12, pulse. Let's flex the foot for the pulses for a change. And as you flex, try to spread your toes apart. Even breathing. Good. Before we do the other side, pull that knee into chest. Stand up tall. Circle your foot in the air. Could be doing these with dance shoes if you want. Yoga socks. Those are the ones with the little rubber sticky things on the bottom so you're not slip sliding all over the place. Let's do the other leg straight back and lift, lift. Straight up. Try not to curve here. Try not to lift the hip up, but have your hip facing the ground. Slight bend in your standing leg. Or straight, but don't lock behind the knee. Doing a set of 12. And on number 12, pulse with a flexed foot. Spread your toes. Even breaths, don't hold your breath. And bring it down. Pull that knee into chest. And circle your foot here. Simple moves, accessible to everybody. Let's go back to the first leg and bend it this time. I'll turn to the side so you can see. So what I'm not doing is this. This is a different move. With the hip facing the ground as I lift and push the sole of the foot up to the ceiling. Do a count of 12 and then reach back for your pant leg, a strap around your foot, or take your foot. Now I'm taking the inside of the foot. You could take the outside. Some people like to take the ankle and pull into a bow pose. Knee as high as comfortable. It's okay if you're right here. Let's take the upper body slightly forward and lift as high as comfortable. Notice you're getting a nice stretch through the shoulder with this one as well. If you feel like taking it into half moon balance, your hand could go down to the floor or to a brick. This is a slightly more advanced yoga position, but it deepens the stretch out of your hip. Let's do the bent legs on the other side. They're small. Lift, push the knee up. Keep your hip facing the ground. Strong lower back. You can increase your counts with practice or redo the whole bar workout. Let's reach for pant leg, ankle, or foot. And lift into bow pose. If you did the half moon balance here, hand to brick or floor. On the other side, then let's do it also on this side. Deep stretch through the quads and hip. Nice work. And bring it back up. Walk in place. Make it into a dance as well. Sometimes I add little dance routines into the class. Let's do another stretch for the outer hip. Plant your ankle on the knee and sit on an imaginary chair. I really like this one holding with both hands so I can drop really low. Also get a stretch between my shoulders. And let's add some bends here. So it's a stretch as well as some work, getting low. For maximum work, for most challenge, tippy toes. Higher you go, the more work it is in your calves and heels. And when you get to number 12, stretch it out one more time and come up. Let's do the other side, planting the foot. Sitting, you can do it holding with one hand. I prefer the two-hand hold. Sit down low, enjoy the stretch. Lengthen long. If you have a really wobbly chair, you might want to put something on it to weigh it down so you're not pulling the chair over here. And let's go down, bend, 12 of these. If you did it on tippy toes on the other side, tippy toes here. Four more for me makes 12. You might be going slower or faster than me. And stretch it out again. Good. Let's do some lunges before we do a nice deep hamstring stretch. In the lunges, both the forward foot and the back foot are on tippy toes. Or you could be grounded on the front foot, but watch that the back foot isn't rooted down on an angle like that, but like this. And lunge. So you could be holding your prop like this, or have your hand here, or open it on the way down. Now watch that you're not falling forward in the upper body, but stay tall. Shoulders overhead, wide open heart center. When you get to number 12, let's stay low and pulse. So we have a combination here of contraction and expansion, working through the quads, stretching through the hip flexor. Tippy toes on the front foot in this one definitely makes it harder, adds work into the calves. Before we do the other side, let's do a pyramid stretch. So in this one, if you prefer, you could ground the foot on an angle and dropping part way down, or perhaps both hands down into a forward bent position. If you want, if you're able, you want to go into a full splits. I'm not 100%, it's okay if you're not. Breathe here. Add a wee bit of a pulse. You don't want to be dramatic with this. Small movements. This pulse just helps to expand those muscles, ligaments, into the position. Let's do the lunges on the other side. Other foot forward. And lower. Does your back knee touch the floor? You can if you want. Rise up in your upper body. Notice what muscles need to work to be in this exercise. And what can relax. You don't need to tense up in your jaw, in your neck. Count of 12. And then let's stay for pulses. Front foot could be tippy toes or heel lifted for a little more challenge. Don't make these bounces, but just little pulses. By bounces, I mean it's like boing, boing, boing. We just want to be subtle. Don't tear anything. And let's follow it with the pyramid stretch. Back foot can stay on tippy toes or root down. Hold your prop and just go part way. Front leg is not lunged here. You want to get the hamstring stretched, so straighten it. Hands to floor, or if you did splits on the other side, try it here. You may go deeper on one side than the other. Breathing deeply. And we'll end with a nice leg stretch on the bar. So if you're using a chair and it's not very stable, putting your foot on the back of the chair will probably knock the chair over. If you're using a counter, which is a little lower than this, that's probably ideal. This is fairly high for the foot for most people, but our goal is to bring the foot up onto your bar. Let's do it from an opening first, so rotating open. Take that into a side bend, reaching down the leg toward the foot, arm overhead. Extend. You may not be able to reach all the way, but no loosey-goosey arms. Let's extend long. Maybe you can reach the foot. It's okay if you can't. Long breath. Some ballet bars have 2 levels, a high and a low bar, and choose what works. You can also use stairs in this one. Sliding on my bar. Now same leg, but forward. So bringing it back up, and this time reaching for my prop with both hands, dropping my head toward the leg. So just turn slightly so you can see what I'm doing. I'm extending toward the leg. This is a forward bend. So deeper on the hamstrings than the other one. And if your leg is only up this high, that's fine. You're getting the same stretch as me because you're finding your maximum flexibility. Let's take the other foot up, wherever it'll go. Let's try to keep the standing leg straight and spiral open. Long breaths, try not to be bending forward. Let's take the hunchback out. And turn it inwards. Forward bend towards your knee. Breathing deeply. It's okay if you're not leaning on the leg like me, you could be here. It's fine. I left out our side bend. Let's finish this stretch and come back. If you don't have to hop like I'm doing, and let's get that side bend in there. And again, if you're only here, that's fine. You want to feel like that stretch is coming out of the hip as you reach through your arm. March it out, a few shoulder rolls. Nice work. Join me again. We'll add a bit more focus to the upper body in our bar practice. Namaste.